Welcome back, YouTube. Welcome back, all my Dark Knights. So, guys, we just covered the gameplay. We're covering the gameplay updates. We just got over the accessibility, user face, and user experience. Now we're down to this items. I'm already skeptical about this thing, but let's get into it. Enchant cost is now determined by a coefficient of base item power and item type instead of the item sell value. So why can't they just make it a base? Why do they have to add it as a coefficient? Like, why everything had to be so complicated? For rare items, this will generally result in a higher initial enchant cost. Awesome. But subsequent enchanting will continue to escalate at a significantly reduced rate than prior. Enchant costs will generally reduce across the board for legendary items. So it's like, all right, guys, we know you're whining about this and we know our numbers are super high, but we won't like fix them right out the get-go. We're just going to drop them a little bit so that way we can drop them a little bit more later. Man, like the enchanting is ridiculous. They wonder why people buy gold. It's because they don't offer a good amount of gold in exchange or compared to enchanting. It's insane. For example, when enchanting a rare ancestral wand, when 750 base item power prior to Season of Blood, the first enchant would be 56,000 gold. Second would be 282. Third would be 338 gold. So I got this handy dandy calculator for you guys. So this is what they're doing now. And this is what they're going to be doing going forward. Here's the problem is item powers are going up to 925. So they're showing us this information based on 750. Add 200 levels and we're at a different ball game. Like, it's just like, come on, bro. Like, so like the first 3 in season 1, it would cost 677K. Now it's only going to cost a little bit under 400K. That's still too much. What are we doing here? Imagine if an item power is going to be level 925. I just don't get it. Like, this is insane. Like, they're lowering it, but they're not even lowering it by a high amount. They know this is a friction area, but they just don't fix problems. They just put small band-aids on. Like, they're just not being efficient in their updates. They're just not being efficient. Anyways, let's get to this item power of 800. So item power of 800 prior to Season of Blood. First enhancement is 164,000. Now it's going to be 72. So I think what they're getting at is maybe the higher it goes up, the lower it is. So maybe this might be a maybe this might be a good thing, but for their examples that they used right here, not really the greatest examples. Like, if you're moving it up to 925, show us a 925 example. Like, stop showing us all these examples that don't even exist. I'm nervous about this. I'm going to have gold issues again. That's why most of the content creators, one, buy gold and they buy items. Like, they're just making a market for gold farming is what they're doing. They're just making it a little bit easier and a little bit cheaper to buy. Like, it's just, my God, come on, man. Fix this crap. Like, stop beating around the horse. Just cut right through it. Additionally, imprinting, adding sockets, or upgrading will no longer increase enchant costs. Developer note. Oh, it's a developer. Enchants being determined by sell value encourage players to re-roll a rare item before upgrading it at a blacksmith or imprinting it on an aspect. Yep, basically that's pretty much what everybody did. When it was yellow, they had upgraded it, and so now they're trying to get away from that. The overall formula for enchanting costs has been adjusted, so items adjustments need not be done in a specific order to be the most cost effective. Additionally, this reduces overall costs incurred when re-rolling an item. We'll see how it goes, guys. That'll be a big topic for us. Like, they're just going to crush our gold again. They're wondering why so many people buy gold. Gems will no longer drop from regular sources and can instead be crafted at a jeweler. So I do like this. Previous gem sources now drop gem fragments. So we're going to be getting gem fragments, which are stored in the material tab. So it would basically be an endless supply of that. We don't have to worry about it. Crafted gems can be salvaged back into gem fragments at the jeweler. So basically, if you can break the gems down and you'll get fragments. The equivalent number of gem fragments will drop less frequently than gems did from regular sources, but more frequently from whisper caches. So basically I get most of my whisper caches from doing Legion events and things like that. So they're just trying to get us out of the dungeons a little bit more, it sounds like. Developer note, another developer note, here we go. By moving gems acquisition to an active player action, there will no longer be passively filling up your inventory, reducing stress on overall space. We're also weighing the equivalent drops more towards targeted rewards to reduce the potential frequency of checking the materials tab during regular play. Here we go. This is one I am not happy about at all. I am not happy about this. The overall drop rate of elixirs has been reduced. It was already brutal. Like, pretty much the only ways you could get these things was from Hell Tides. Like, the 0.5% chance of dropping from a monster has been reduced to 0.02. So they cut the chance in half. And it never freaking dropped anyways. Oh, let's hear what the developer notes have to say. We are trying to reduce stress on players' consumable inventory tab. But what about my experience tab? You worried about that one? Similar to our changes made for gems, we hope players will be interacting with elixirs they've purposely crafted. Bro, I'm not going to lie. I don't craft gems. You want to know why I don't craft gems? Because the materials on them are ridiculous to get. I don't know anybody that went out and is like, I'm going to go farm for crafting materials. Like, farming in this game is boring as hell. You know? Like, miss. That's a miss. That's another miss. Check that. Like, airball. That's a big airball right there, boys. That's a big, big airball. Like, no. Not good. God. And these are upgrades, mind you. These are... Whisper caches will now always only reward items on a specific inventory slot instead of having a chance to include a random item of any equipment slot. Why wasn't this right out the rip? It literally would say on there, you want a chest, helm, or like boots or something like that. Like, so you basically said you're lying to us the whole time, and now you're like kind of making it better. But it's just a chance. It's just a chance. It's not even, you're not even doing it. The drop chance of scrolls of escape, I don't really play hardcore, has been reduced. Oh, yes. From 0.1% chance to 0.025. Let me know, hardcore players, like, was it already hard to get that? It's not even a percent chance. Like, wasn't even a percent chance to drop. It was a 0.1. Oh my goodness. Fiend roses and forgotten souls are no longer required to update non-sacred or ancestral items. Thank God, because these bad boys, these roses were ridiculous to find. So these will no longer be required to update anything. All right, I like that, kind of. The item power ranges for sacred and ancestral items have been adjusted. 925 is coming. Level scaling example. Note, This is eye power range for items dropped from monsters of the listed level. Okay, so this is going to be the item. This is going to be the monster level, and then this is what they're going to be dropping. Okay, so for sacreds, you get a boss or a mob at 55, and then you'll get 625. All right, so you guys can pretty much see that. I'm not going to go into all of that. Post 100, so post 100s are going to be dropping the big stuff. Aren't doesn't that go up to like 150 though? So it must just be for they I don't know. They must have meant to put 102 and up. Sorry. I kind of get what they mean, but I'm still kind of not. The acquisition rate of forgotten souls from salvaging has been adjusted. Salvaging a sacred item has a 5% chance to grant a forgotten soul. Salvaging an ancestral item has a 10% chance to get a forgotten soul. Two-handed items now grant up to 2 forgotten souls from salvage. All other equipment types can grant 1. Developer note: forgotten souls become much easier to get in Season of Malignant. Helltide was designed to be the primary source of forgotten souls, but being able to acquire them through other means disincentivize players from Helltides. We want to encourage players to participate in Helltides more, but do not want to completely shut down alternative sources of forgotten souls. So we have broadened the types of items that can now grant forgotten souls when salvaged, but decreased the drop rate. Previously, only weapons could provide them when salvaged, but it was a guarantee. All right, so to sum all of this up, previously weapons were the only ways to get forgotten souls. Now, all gear, you can, when you're salvaging it, ancestral, sacred, all has a chance of dropping it. So helms and things like that now have a chance to drop it. Two-handed weapons, it looks like it doesn't have a percent chance. It's just going to give it to you, but it's going to give you 2. In a sense, I think we're going to have tons of Forgotten Souls. So I don't even think Forgotten Souls is going to be a question mark in the game. I think it's still going to be the Fiend Roses, and that's kind of what I'm running into right now. Pretty much it's just Fiend Roses. The following loot adjustment has been implemented per world tier. So world tier 1 and 2, unchanged. World tier 3, only legendaries, uniques, uber uniques, and sacred drop items will drop. Players will instead receive additional crafting resources. World tier 4, only legendaries, uniques, uber uniques, and ancestral items. Players will instead receive additional crafting materials. So that's good. If you're in World Tier 4, all you're going to get is the big boy items. You're no longer going to get sacreds, it looks like. Gold drop rates have been increased in World Tier 3 and 4 to balance out these changes. What? Balance out what changes? So gold is going up. I don't get to balance out these changes. So what does balance out the changes? I thought you were decreasing the gold here. So maybe that just might be a weird statement. I think they're just increasing it to help out everything. I don't know. So that should be good. The gold, you're going to get more gold, and these things will cost less. So maybe we're moving in a good direction. I'm just kind of nervous about it. We'll see how it goes. The more patch notes we get into, guys, the more question marks raise. You know, I think it's just too much stuff being jammed into one. We'll see how it goes, guys. We'll see how it goes. I got question marks, but I'm looking forward to it. Next video, we're going to talk about the blood packs. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be dropping that soon. Guys, tomorrow I'm streaming. I'm streaming Season of Blood right when it drops. We're going to be on it. We're going to be flowing through it. Guys, if you made it through this far, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Give me a comment below. If anything, give me an emoji. helps out the engagements, helps out the algorithms, helps us get noticed to other individuals. And without you guys, I can't reach people. I can't give information to anybody. So we definitely appreciate that, guys. And we will see you, like always, on the next one.